What's good? What's good? What's cracking? You know what it is. It's your boy Ramil, and today we got a special guest, one of my homies, Mufassa Shabazz, and this about to be lit today. If you guys have not seen his response video to my eugenics video, you need to go check that out. He has some good points. It sucks. I'm gonna have to debunk them all in this live stream, but we're gonna have a good session. So tell them who you are.
Yeah, man, it's Mufassa Shabazz. I got a new upcoming YouTube channel. You can check me out at Instagram, Mufassa_Shabazz, Snapchat, Mufassa_Shabazz. And if you guys want to send me an email on anything, just go to contact mufassashabazz@gmail.com. And Mufassa Shabazz is the YouTube channel as well, the YouTube channel. So, yeah, that's it. That's about it, man.
That's what's good. That's what's good. So we're gonna get straight into it. And so as you know, a few days ago, I put up yesterday I put up a video called Black Darwinism, and then days before that, I put up a video entitled Eugenics. And you disagree with it, and you made a video. Can you elaborate? I've seen your response video, but just for people who haven't, can you elaborate where you disagree with me at? And yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, no doubt. So basically, I had three points that I disagree. So first of all, I said, who determines how we're going to do these eugenics? Who's going to determine what the areas are? Who's going to determine who we target for sterilizations and all these different eugenic tactics? And I said, second of all, and what I thought was the biggest point, you put a lot of focus on who is the degenerates in our community that are out doing crimes with victims. And my thing is, the bigger problem in the Black community is the do-good people who just sit around, go to work, and do what they're supposed to do. They're more of a problem than anyone else because they go along with the system. At least the degenerates are disrupting the system. So if we're going to have any type of eugenic program, we're going to have to target them if we're targeting anyone. So I think the focus, because there's more of them than there is of the extreme criminals. And then my third point was that empathy is logical. You can't look at people as numbers, because if you treat people like animals and wildebeest, like you use in the example, you have to deal with the backlash that you're going to get from people. So those were my three basic points. And then I had some points that I agree with that I ended with, but we could deal with all that later.
Okay. That's dope. So you said I hear echo.
You hear echo? Hold on. Let me make sure I got the let me make sure I got it muted.
Let me see. I still hear a little bit.
You still hear echo?
Okay. Now we good. We good.
All
right. So the first point you made was I believe who decides who gets sterilized and whatnot. That was, and what areas would you target? That's correct. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now, when you ask who decides who gets sterilized, what I was trying to say is you don't have to even do that. The people would decide for themselves because it's a voluntary thing. I'm not saying we force people to get sterilized. I'm saying that you volunteer to get yourself sterilized in exchange for the immediate benefits, in exchange for money in hand right then and there. And anybody who's dumb enough to do that for the short-term gain doesn't need to be having children anyway. So I was just saying you need to incentivize being sterilized, because Black people are short-term thinkers, and that's the issue in the community. People having babies because of a short-term feeling. They love this person, or they want to be with that person. He looked good, she looked good. Those type of people don't need to be making babies. So you can let those type of people will out themselves when you put an offer on the table. You get sterilized in exchange for this amount of money. So it wasn't no forcing or anything. And as far as areas to target, you would target areas where you find these people the most, which is hood areas, unfortunately.
Right. And I understand that. I understood that point, and I wanted to put that in there. But this is the thing: as soon as you do any type of campaign, we have to consider the history if we're going to be realistic and not make this like a super hypothetical. We have to consider the fact that people are going to identify what you're doing, and they're gonna associate it with eugenics. They're gonna associate it with Hitler. They're gonna associate it with the 20s. So we have to face that head on. So as soon as you put this out there, people are gonna take it as, even though you're presenting it to people who may be dumb enough to do it, they're still gonna take it as you're sterilizing the people in the community. So either way, you're gonna have to deal with the people who are gonna speak out on the behalf of these people. That's going to be an issue. Now, and then you said, now in the video, you proposed, I believe around 15 or 16, we can make these offers for these women to get their tubes tied. But the issue is that even if you're able to find women, like I was dumb as hell at 15, 16, even 18, 20. You see what I'm saying? So they may still become productive later on. We can't judge it based on how they are at 15, 16. Now, yes, by the numbers, a lot of people may be wrong.
Not maybe, by the numbers, a lot of people are. I mean,
I give you that. No, that's a fact. Facts. No, that's a fact. So, yeah, by the numbers, the majority, yes, they're not going to turn out. But we don't know
the vast majority. Not, I mean, like, we're not. This is not like an anomaly. Like the vast majority are not going to turn out to be shit. I mean, that's why the hood exists, because the vast majority of the people in there aren't shit. It's not, because the hood is just a manifestation of the people's thought patterns who live there, and majority of them, the vast majority, would not become shit. So if we're going to take these chances, then we're just taking more risk, unnecessary risk. I mean, the numbers are it's a very small percentage of people in these hood areas who want to rise up. And I mean, it's not like they can't do it though. Like we act like the hood is like some foreign nation. Like they can't walk blocks and get away from that shit. Like they can't save up $1,000 and get away from that shit. You know, they're there because they want to be there. There's a whole culture on glorifying this shit. And the way you combat something extreme as this, you got to have extreme objectives. That's the only way. You fight savagery with savagery.
Right. No, that's true. The only issue with that, I'm hearing a lot of feedback. Is that you?
What's up? What about now?
Nah, check. I'm good. I don't hear it. So no, the only issue is that when you have a situation where a lot of our people are in the hood, you never know when. I've heard, I don't know if it was you or black men taking their community back, saying the cream always rises to the top. But if you snuff the cream out before it even has a chance, we'll never know. So even though a lot of the people in these areas do, we have to stick it out, because one man or woman could come out of a situation that's a bad situation, and he could impact so many other people. It only takes like a couple people to impact a lot of people. Think about how many people LeBron James, and I'm just using this because this is something that people can, put on their mind. I could say Ben Carson. I could say a lot of different people who came out of dire situations, and they impact a lot of people with their actions. If we go to killing people off or sterilizing them, we're not even giving them a chance to be able to find the people who may be those next people, if that's making sense. So yes, I understand. Yeah, a lot of these people do bad things, but I think if you look at the hood, the majority of the people are not the lowest of the low. A lot of them are just, to me, in my opinion, they're very docile. They're just doing what they can do to get along, going along to get along, because the majority of the hood is being terrorized by the thugs and all the community terrorists in the hood. So I don't think that is the issue. We let a few of them go by at the chance that we may catch the next big thing. We may catch the next leader, male or female. We can't sterilize people so early. We cannot do that, because we're going to lose out on those opportunities. Do you think that it's a bigger, I'm going to ask you, do you think that there's a bigger chance that is it not as worth it that we may have a successful person that we may have discounted, like yourself, like I mentioned in the video? I'm not putting it out.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that too. We're going to get to
okay, that. Yeah. Like I said, is it not more important that we hold out for that, or sterilize people so that we might miss a few worthless niggas that really ain't hurting nothing in the grand scheme of things? Which of those two is more important?
See with that type of thinking, now we're playing on the anomaly now. Like what you're talking about, like you said, LeBron James, Ben Carson, these are like, this is not the main, like these are like anomalies. These are not what's coming out of these situations. Right? People are not breeding LeBron James and Ben Carson. This is literally like 1 out of 1,000, if that. Like we can't be putting our efforts and energies off of a numbers game which has like a 0.1% success rate. That's just illogical. I mean, it might seem harsh, but I mean, you said don't look at people as numbers, but in essence, we are numbers, and numbers tell everything. Business is ran by numbers. Everything in this world is about numbers. So if we don't put some type of logical math into this equation, we're going to be in the same situation, and that math just doesn't make sense. To play off the anomaly of a 0.1% chance of a LeBron coming out, why can't a LeBron come out from a situation with people who are smart enough not to go under the procedure? You know why? I mean, why can't Ben Carson can't come out of people who are not smart, who are not dumb enough to take this the sterilization? And we're playing on the numbers that are not realistic. So that's my issue. Like we have to look at the numbers. The numbers say majority of black people being born are in poverty, and majority of them stay in poverty, and they do it by choice. And these are the type of people who you cannot compete with other race. You cannot compete with other races for resources when you majority of the people are breeding weak-minded people. You got to understand this is a competition. We're competing with other races for resources, for survival. All right, and your team has to have the best players to have a fighting chance. And we don't have a fighting chance because majority of our team are just bench players. And you're competing against the Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors, and we the 76ers because we're not drafting the right players.
Right. Okay. I agree with that. But this is the thing though. Every single, and this is one of the points in the video also, every single nation of people has weaklings. Every single nation of people has bench players, as you call it. So my thing is, why aren't we using our bench players to our advantage? Because that's one thing. Human nature is structured in leaders and followers. Okay, if you start playing too much with the natural order of things, you're going to have too many leaders. You're going to have too many people that's smart. And then you're going to have another issue because black people do not know how to submit to leadership. That is one of our biggest problems already. So if you have a situation where black people don't want to submit to leadership, and then you're going to engineer your population to where you're going to have more people who are in leadership positions or have the aptitude to be leaders, you're going to create a whole other problem for yourself. So we have to think, why not focus on the strong, utilizing and mastering the weak that are already here before we get to killing off the weak and having less people to be subjects for the kings, metaphorically. We need more subjects for the kings to be here. I understand you're saying, yes, there's a low chance that a really smart person will emerge from these people, but each one of those people, you never know how big you'll hit. Seriously, like you never know how big you will hit with a genius or someone coming out. And the biggest thing we have to think about before we get to killing these people off, we have to make sure we have took every measure that we can to put these people to use. You know what I'm saying? If you look at like what the GDs did, or if you look at I forget the name. I think, what is it, Larry Hoover? And these people, you have smart people. They can put these people to work in a certain way that can benefit us. And if more smart people got together to make use of the weak amongst us, I think we have a better chance giving that a shot first. And I'm not saying, because I know you're going to say, don't be emotional. I know you're going to say, don't go trying to help people. But I'm saying, why not the intelligent amongst us, yourself and I included, why not build things and make use of these people? You know what I'm saying? Not to denigrate, but I'm saying make use or whatever. You know, we ain't dealing with emotion. So why not make use of them before we go to kill them off? We may be able to make use of them. Because I will ask you. Go ahead.
Well, okay, well, we got to understand, once again, I'm not advocating killing people off. What I'm advocating is the prevention of future births of what statistics say will majority become unproductive people. People who are here now, I'm not saying you should kill them off. And then your second point where you said that blacks don't submit to leadership, blacks do submit to leadership when they have to. All right, because a black person, they're gonna submit to them white folks when the white folks pull up on you. You know, you will submit to something that when you have to submit to. When you go work for somebody and you're employed, you're submitting to them. So blacks will submit, they just need something that's worth submitting to. Because black people submit all the time. Black men submit to white corporations. Black women submit to thug ass black men. Like submission is possible with the right psychological training, and it has to be by force. It has to be because of survival needs. And then when you the last point you said, um I'm sorry, you said the last point was
Why not use them?
oh yeah, why not use them? Okay, you can only help somebody who want to help themselves. If you look at majority of the people in these hoods, they're there, not literally, like you said, they're docile because they want to be docile. This is America. This is the richest country in the world. If you want to go get employed, you can get employed. If you want to change your life, you can do it. Like the option is in front of you. You can only help people who want to help themselves. It's already been proven that black people do not want to help themselves. And the proof is that it's 2017. You have Google here that can teach you how to do anything you want to do. You have a public library in every fucking corner. You have people hiring everywhere, monster.com, indeed.com. They'll hire your black ass. I mean, the opportunity is here if you look for it, and black people are not actively searching for it, which makes them not only counterproductive, but they're not taking their survival seriously. So you can't help people survive if they're not even taking their own survival seriously.
No, and I agree with that. But my thing is that is a benefit right there. See, if you create too many people that cannot submit, you're gonna have a problem in your society. That we go to the whole too many Indians, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. You need people that could submit. You need people like, for instance, the Arabs are around. A large part of why Arabs still exist is because of the invention of suicide bombings. If you don't have enough motherfuckers that'll go and kill themselves, in the grand scheme of things, they're killing themselves for the people that are going to be left over, the rich and the powerful. If you don't create enough of them, you're going to have a whole nother problem. So when you socially engineer your population through eugenics, you have to consider that too. Like I use Star Wars as an example. I don't know how much you into Star Wars.
Not
You
at
watch
all.
it
Go
all?
ahead.
So
Not.
it ain't gonna take long. I'll explain my
It's all good. It's all good.
yeah. So, but if you go to basically everybody knows what the stormtrooper is, the dude in a white suit or whatever. Those are clones. Those are clones of a bounty hunter, like a well-known dude. He was real sharp, really well-known. He was, one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy, right? They
Mm-hmm.
took his genetics and they numbed them down, and they didn't make them as strong. They made them not as smart. They made them more able to take direction. They didn't make them as strong as the original, because if they did, they would not be docile enough to follow orders. But then he had another clone made to be his real son that was made exactly like him. And if you study that real son and you look at his story through the series, he's very rebellious, but he's very good at what he does. So when you socially engineer something, I'm just bringing that up to show that's just an example of them engineering. You got to take that into account. And I don't know if you've taken that into account based on what I'm listening. I don't think you've taken into account the fact that you do need people that are less intelligent around. You need people who are less intelligent around. And in your assessment, I don't think you made an argument on how we're going to deal with the less intelligent.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I have taken that to account. No matter what type of breeding you do, there's always going to be uh leaders, and there's always going to be people who have to submit, not because they necessarily want to, but because they have to. Like it's just going to happen. Like no matter who you have in the room, a hierarchy is always going to be established. So even if we weed out, like I'm saying, the more intelligent people, it's still gonna have to be followers and still gonna have to be leaders. But what I'm saying is that the less intelligent people, I'm not saying like I said, I'm not saying kill them. I mean, and if you want to put them to use, the ones who want to work, they will come. If you build something, they will come. They will fill out the applications. But majority of our less intelligent are not interested in working even for their own survival. So those type of people are not needed because they're not even taking their own survival seriously. And so I don't understand how we can work with people who don't even want to work with themselves. That's what I'm confused
All
about.
right, let me ask you this, and let me ask you this. What is your plan for, because when we start talking about criminals and things like that, there may be there's 800,000 or so people locked up in jail right now, not to mention all the ones in paperwork or whatever, but there's maybe 48 million black people in general. Okay, so if we go hood by hood, the amount of criminals doing crimes, and then we're not even going to mention the fact that a lot of those 800,000 are there for just drug crimes, which that's a bunch of bullshit anyway, right?
Uh-huh.
The amount doing the real crime, that's such a small number. That shit is like somewhere inside 1%. What is your solution from a eugenic standpoint for the docility of all the majority of black people that just sit around and do this shit? They don't even try to do something for themselves. They don't buck the white man at all. What is your solution for that? Because you're just only addressing a small amount. What is your solution for the larger community?
Let them die. Let them die. Let them die by
Not gonna die
themselves.
though, because they produce for white men. So how are they gonna die?
I'm talking about let them. You said what to do with them. If you're talking about a black advanced civilization, you have to let them die. First of all, they can't be a part of it. And second of all, you have to let them die off. They're considered weak. Anybody who's not trying to build an advanced black civilization really has no place because look how far behind we are. You gotta look at us in relation to other races of human beings. We are in competition for resources. All right, that's the bottom line. You need resources to survive. And because of our lack of intelligence as a whole, we are not getting the proper resources to survive. All of our resources come from other races. This is a competition that we have to look at life as a competition. And you're competing against other human beings who have teams way better than yours. And they're so good, they're even using our people to fight for them. All right, these type of people, we can't really use them because they don't have black survival as a primary interest. So if you don't have black survival as a primary interest, what are you doing? That's like a lion in a pack who don't have the pack's survival at hand, at interest, as a primary interest. You're dealing with people who literally don't even care about their own survival. You're trying to advocate for the survival of people who don't even care about their own survival.
No, but see that you made my point basically, because I'm saying you just said there are some of them who are fighting for our enemies.
Uh-huh.
That is the majority. That's like 95% of our population, other than the people who are being business owners, doing their own thing, and in a different way, they're bucking basically against the system. But what about all the people that's working at Walmart? What about all the people that's middle managers at Target and all these different things that are going along with it willingly? They are not going to die. You
Well,
understand
going
what I'm saying?
along with what though?
They're not
Going
gonna
along
die.
with what those people are doing, the people who are just going to work every day, they're contributing to the economy at least. All right. But we have to look at the black situation. Look at the majority of black people in the areas that we live in are fucking horrible. You know, you call it the hood, whatever. That is a manifestation of the mental thinking thought process of the people who live there. That's all it is. Your outer is representing your inner. So the people who are working, like I said, leave them be because at least they're contributing to the economy. Like we can say they contribute to the white system or whatever, but the bottom line is it's a system. And if you want to take out this white system, you have to have a system to replace it. So until then, we got to function in this economy. So if they're going to contribute to the economy, that's cool. But when we're talking about the advancement of a black race or any race in general, you have to do more than that. All right, you have to do. We're in extreme circumstances. The single mother wedlock rate is extreme. We're like it's like us, and then it's like 40 percentage points down. Then it's the next race. You
Yeah,
know,
like that.
it's
Yeah.
like we're way high up there. Like we're in extreme circumstances. Extreme circumstances require extreme measures. You can't come at this with an angle as We got to help them. We got to help this. When we're already fucked up, we're like way out of the norm. Our entrepreneurship rate is the lowest out of all the races. I just said we just talked about the single mother. Well, I just mentioned that higher than everybody else's. Like our degenerate statistics are always way higher than the next race. So we got to take measures that are way higher than what you would do to the next race. All right, like this is extreme right here. And then if you're talking about we got to wait for this the anomaly to happen the next, why isn't that happening now? Why isn't that happening right now? Where are these geniuses at now? We don't have eugenics right now. So shouldn't they be coming out the woodworks now? Like
Well, this is the thing, though. Like you said, and I'm glad you said, they're going and they're working for the enemy everywhere. Listen, pretty much anybody black that's doing something is going and working for someone else. They're working for some Arab somewhere. They're working for some Caucasoid somewhere, and they're going out to other places in the community. And for some reason, there are not enough of us that can see, that are not intelligent enough to see that long term, because this is a large measure of intelligence, is for you to see things long term. They cannot notice that long term, this hurts us as a community. So my thing is, if we're going to talk about any type of eugenics, we have to address that, because that is a defect. You're saying that you're minimizing it, saying like, oh, well, at least they're contributing to the economy. No. The economy is against us. We have been maintaining this economy since 1619 or 1553. We have been maintaining this American economy. We've been maintaining this. Wall Street has been going all this whole time. Maintaining this economy does not equate to power for us. So people that are okay, I'm not saying, you're in a situation where you're doing what you have to do. People that are okay with maintaining this economy is not a good thing. That is just as negative, if not more negative.
Okay, what's the alternative then? Because I love when people say, "Oh, we got to destroy the system. The system not for you." The system is a tool, and whoever takes the best advantage of that tool is going to benefit. It's not the economy itself that's evil. It's the lack of you using the economy to your advantage. So if we're going to take out this economy or take out this quote unquote white capitalistic system, what is the alternative? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's capitalism that doesn't have humans out here fucking killing each other in a primal tribal way. It's because of money that we're not out here at the mercy of these white people who have all the guns and all the ammo to take our ass out. What's the alternative to this evil system, quote unquote?
Okay, well, wait a minute. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm going to agree with you in the sense of saying that it's not the system, but that wasn't my argument. My argument is the fact that do we have black people?
You said the system. You said the system's evil. You said that promoting this system is not beneficial. You said it's evil. You said it's not beneficial to people. Yeah. No, so if it's against,
it doesn't help us.
But why doesn't it help us? Does it not help us because we're not taking advantage of the economy, or does it not help us just because we're just that helpless?
No, it doesn't help us because we have too many black people who don't have a problem with bending over and basically helping another group of people subjugate them. I'm not, and this is where we're going to agree, and we probably discuss this later. I don't think capitalism is evil. I don't think being a fucking go-getter and going out and eating what you kill is evil. Black people, that's one of black people's problems. So we're not going to disagree on that. My problem is the fact that why do black people not see that there's something wrong with that? I used to work for a large corporation, and every single day I got up, I was like, man, let me go work for these fucking crackers again because I have to. Why aren't black people thinking like that? That is a lack of intelligence. That is something that we need to purge out. But when we start talking eugenics, that's something that's spread up to fucking like 90% of our people. So we can't purge that out through eugenics. That's why I'm saying to you, we have to have another method of dealing with this other than purging out a few small amounts of very extreme criminals that are a small percentage of our population. We may as well let them go and see if something great comes out of that. That's my point on that.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Like, okay, here's the thing. When I'm talking about eugenics, I'm literally talking about the people. I'm starting from the bottom up. The people who don't need to be reproducing, who will willingly give up their reproduction rights for money. People that's a very low. Those are the lowest of the low. All right, that's what we need to start with. It. That's what I'm talking about. Now, the situation you're talking about, the majority of people who work for white people every day, that's another situation. That's another story. That's going to, of course, it's going to require a different solution because that's a different situation. These people are not out as docile as you say because they are contributing to the economy. But it's the fact that they don't want to contribute to the advancement of a black race. That's the problem. Those people are another class of people, and they have to be addressed in a different way. The people who are going to work every day, they at least have the drive to do something. That drive just needs to be altered in a new way. But that's a whole nother like, you know, topic of conversation if we're talking about them, because I mean they're working for white people, but at least they're doing something. They just their energy and their thought process just has to be driven another way, you know, because that energy can be used. Energy that working for white people can be used. But when I'm talking about eugenics, I'm talking about the motherfuckers in the hood making babies all day, every day. The same motherfuckers, the same bitches with 5, 6 kids who fucking. I mean, this is not the anomaly. This is normal hood shit. That's why the single mother red lock is so high. These bitches out here breeding these who decide to make welfare their career. That is who the eugenics is for, because that is where our population is growing the most. All right, and you saying this is not a small percentage of people going up. You're a criminal when you're not contributing to your survival. That's criminal right there. All right, you're a criminal. You think it's cool to wake up every day and the only thing you got to do is do some drugs and fuck, and that's it. Don't go to work or nothing. This is the hood. That's why the hood is like it is. This is the majority of people. That's what I'm talking about with the eugenics. The people who just don't give a fuck, which is a large percentage of black people. That's why
I
there's
don't
hoods
know
in
though.
every.
How large of a percentage though, bro? Like, give me like a rough estimate. Give or take 15%. Give or take 15. So
Of
you,
black people not doing shit is
yeah, like that.
probably
Give a fuck, living day to day.
probably it's probably 30 to 40%.
30. Damn. But
Probably 30. I
are
mean, think, look,
majority not that high?
majority of us live in. Look, majority of us of black people live in metropolitan areas. All right. Now, if you go to the metropolitan areas where the businesses at, majority of those businesses are owned by. If you go downtown anywhere, it's white people doing the majority of the commerce. It's white people doing participating in majority of the economics. So where are these other black people at? I mean, they're not all working for white people. Majority of them are at the crib, not doing shit, getting SSI checks. All right, majority of them are at the crib, fucking. I, oh my
Nah,
bad. I
but
just heard. Go
oh,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was
No, I
gonna
heard.
say that the unemployment rate is still like, I think it's somewhere around I think we got about 80 something percent of us working. You know what I'm saying? So I
Working
mean,
for who?
working for shit crackers or somebody, I don't know, not themselves. I can tell you that much.
Okay, well, if that's the case, because you know, black employment for men around 16 to like their mid 20s, unemployment is like 30 some percent, almost 40.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, for like, you know, teens and shit like that. Yeah, but
With
that's
the people who are doing the most, uh, the people who are doing the most damage.
right.
Who and where they're coming from? The people who need these eugenics, which is the single mother, the black single mother who makes a career off welfare. That's who the eugenics is for.
It is, but see, but you have to consider who these people become. A lot of these people become, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have caught me for a crime at 18, or matter of fact, 17. I'm sitting in juvie at 17. They could have said, you know what? Sterilize this nigga. You know what I'm saying? But that would have been foolish because I had a lot of potential.
That's forced sterilization. I'm not trying to force anybody to be sterilized. What I'm saying is that there needs to be a program where people can volunteer to give up their reproductive rights in exchange for a monetary value or some benefits. I'm not saying anybody should be forced to do anything, because you don't have to force people to do this. You offer people $1,000 in exchange for the reproductive rights. Majority of black people will be on it, and that's fine and dandy, because the population right now, I mean, majority of us are not contributing, not only not contributing to the advancement of black people, but the majority of us are just living day to day, and that is not how you compete for resources. We're never going to change a situation uh feeling sorry for the people who don't even feel sorry for themselves. We're in an economic competition. We're getting our ass beat.
That's a fact.
I mean, what would we do right now if white people just said, fuck it? We're just gonna take out all black. We couldn't do shit if white people said we want to take out all black people right now. Because we're so weak, we cannot fight back. We literally are at the mercy of white people right now.
Well,
Every day you wake up.
I'm glad you brought that up. Well, technically, there's a few things that are not due to our power that would stop them from doing that. Okay, now,
Like, what would stop them from taking us out? I'm confused.
technically, if they just said fuck everything after, yes, they have the power to do it, and yes, we don't have the power to defend it. But they do have a lot of political implications with neighboring nations, and they have a lot of ongoing things where they have ongoing dealings where if they exterminated their black population, they will lose a lot of political power when dealing with a lot of people. They have
They wouldn't lose anything because America has the most guns on the planet. They bully their way. That political relations don't mean anything. They'll come to your country and set up a base. That's what the economic hitman were for. They come to your country first, tell you this is what we need. I mean, this is not. I mean, they don't really give a fuck what other people think.
I feel it. But see, now you sounding like Tariq Nasheed. Now you hitting me with the white supremacy narrative now. You hit me with that global white man is the boogeyman. That's that global white man
No, he's not
boogeyman.
the boogeyman. This is facts. America has over 130 some bases in other countries. This is not no white man boogeyman. Tariq Nasheed's a dumbass because Tariq Nasheed blames white supremacy for the reason black people are so fucking weak. When it's not white supremacy's fault, that's black people's fault. But
No, we're gonna get on him in a minute, but I'm gonna tell you why you sound like him. Because there's China recently, I don't know if you followed this. China has in the past few years, they've had a thing they've done where what they're doing is they're from their government, they're hacking United States corporations and taking their information. All right. And stealing their information, and there was a technological company that basically dealt with the windmills. They stole their information and were able to use that technology for themselves. Now, America, despite the fact that they have all these guns, all these nukes, all these different things, but you got places like China and Russia and North Korea and all these different places that have the same guns. And two people with nukes can't shoot nukes off. So the fact that white boys have all these guns is no longer as powerful. So that's why I'm saying that whole boogeyman narrative of them just being able to do whatever they can do doesn't really work. They have to consider all of these different nations. They have to consider the implications of their actions. If they just exterminate white people off, they have enemies that the people in the middle will sway more toward their enemies if they just say, fuck it, we're going to kill black people off. So we do have a political position. We're basically a pawn in other people's game, but it would not make sense. It would not benefit them to kill us off at this point. And I don't know if you have a response to that.
well,
Ain't really much
okay.
you can say, but you know.
Okay. Well, you said okay. Political. All that aside, my original point was that if white people said they wanted to kill off black people right now, all the political agendas, all that shit aside, they can do it, and they have the ability to do it. All right. I mean, that's the point. We're vulnerable. We're very vulnerable. And Chinese people don't like black people either. Russians don't like black people. I'm pretty sure these other countries would not give a fuck if they decided to implement that plan. All right, just like when the Nazis implemented the Holocaust, whether it was true or not, no countries jumped on their ass for years. They let them kill as many as they want before somebody can. I mean, I'm just saying they have the ability to
No,
kill
that's a fact. I can't
and
disagree.
that's because we're vulnerable because we are letting the weakest keep reproducing, and this is our base. And you can tell the weakest the majority of the population because you can look at our media. Art imitates life, life imitates art. Our what we enjoy for entertainment shows our culture. Our culture glorifies poverty. Our culture glorifies ignorance. Our culture glorifies living in small spaces and like animals. And our culture glorifies killing each other. This is mainstream black culture. This represents us. All right, that's a problem. That tells you our mindset. How can eugenics not be one of the solutions? I'm not saying eugenics has to be the only solution, but it damn sure got to be at least one of them things. It has to. You have to just. It has to be a hard line where you got to cut. You just got to just cut something off. All right, it can't be no soft shit with some parts of this. You're right in the aspect of it's not the solution for everything, but goddamn, for these bitches who are creating 5 or 6 kids or more off the welfare system, that's the only solution for them. You
Okay,
have
all right. No, no, now listen. Now, when you start talking like that, I can rock with you because, and we may be able to shift into where I agree with you in terms of eugenics pretty soon. But I do want to address one of the points you made. To compare our media and say, look at the media, look at what we're interested in. You have to consider the fact that we do not own. When we look at media, if we took all the media, threw it in a pot, what percentage of that media do we own? You see what I'm saying? So you have other people controlling the narrative of our media.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so
They
glad you
control our
said
narrative.
that.
We have to address that.
You're right. You're right. Because we don't control majority of our media. But let me ask you a question: if these Jewish motherfuckers got these episodes of Love and Hip Hop right in the stash, and they knew they were not going to make money off of it, will they still put it on air? I mean, just because we don't control it, it still makes money, which we're still eating it up. It don't matter who controls it. The fact that it make the consumer, us as the consumer, still consume the product, whether it's coming from a Jewish man or even a black man, that's the issue right there. No matter who owns it, it makes money. Just like gangster rap. People want to say the Jews put gangster rap out there. You think the Jews would market gangster rap if it wasn't making them money? All right, it's a money thing. They're making money off of it. So it don't matter if they own it or not. We still eat it up.
No, 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 no. We do eat it up. I mean, that's a fact. That's indisputable.
A
But
conscious decision that we eat it up. So it's like, yo, we can't say
now that,
they own the media. Hmm?
no, I'm saying no. It's not necessarily conscious. Niggas don't know what it is. People don't understand that this is a key thing. Incentives drive behaviors. People don't know that they're being controlled because other people control what their incentives are. So we don't necessarily know that we're being directed and
You know?
guided in a certain way.
Do you know?
I know, yes, I'm aware
So
of it.
you know what's stopping the next black man from? I mean, we got now we're talking about now we're making this
Intelligence.
being manipulated. You know, like you if you allow your mind to be manipulated continually, I mean, we got to start drawing lines, you know, between intelligent and weak, because the people who could be manipulated like that, those are the people you don't need on your team competing for resources. You know, like we can't make excuses anymore for people. Look, if a motherfucker is fat and they keep eating McDonald's every day, we can't, and because it tastes good. We can't make excuses for him. He's willingly doing that shit. You know, we gotta start making excuses for us consuming bullshit entertainment and bullshit products, which in turn affects our lives. Because we live this shit. We live what we the songs we listen to, we live this life. The movies we watch, the hood, we live that life. We literally make this our life.
That's a small percentage of it, but before I don't want to get, I want to go more into what I agree with you on that point. If you listen, I made a very direct comment. You said, "What is stopping the people from understanding the grand scheme of things when we have the fucking internet and all of these different things at our disposal?" I'm gonna have to say intelligence. After a certain age, after if you ain't seen this shit by fucking 26 and you've been out of jail with access to the internet for all this time, bruh, man, listen, you just ain't that damn smart at this point. And you may get it later, but at this point, we have to just say you're just not intelligent enough to see it. You know what I'm saying? And I may be wrong in some cases, but we have to draw that line. And it is
I
what it
agree.
is.
The line has to be, but where do we draw the line? That's the question. Like
I'm
that
saying
line,
25. We could come up with a. I'm putting 25 years old.
25.
25
That's cool.
years
That's
with the
reasonable.
fucking internet, and you ain't seen that shit yet.
That's okay. That is very reasonable. All right. So if we say 25, why there's so many niggas over 25 who still on bullshit? Majority of black men over 25 are on bullshit.
I agree
And
with that.
when I say bullshit, I mean Because after 25, when you really start to come of age as a man, you should really understand your situation. A man is supposed to be in control of his domain and his own territory. You should start understanding what a man, being a man truly is about. All right. So it's not, I mean, I'm not saying just because you have a job are you good. I'm saying after 25, you need to be start thinking about taking your survival seriously. And most of us are not doing that. So when we draw this line, what happens to the people who, when we draw the line, who don't make that line? What happens to them?
I mean, I don't think there's anything where we could really do specifically with them. You know what I'm
And
saying? Like,
that's what I was saying. Let the people who are not in it, let them just die off. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, just let them be. Like, white people don't play with everybody either. You feel me? White people don't always take other white people on, to their team and all that either. White people will let other white people starve. You said other races help their weak. Let me. Other
yes.
races don't help their weak. What other races do is just let them survive. They give them just enough to survive, because the only way you can help somebody is when you help themselves. But if you're gonna give somebody a check so that they can survive for the next day, that's not helping them. You're just maintaining their docility. You're not helping the weak. Because if you're helping the weak, you help. Look, like the Bible say, even though I'm not a Christian, you fucking give a man fish for a day, he gonna eat. But if you teach him how to fish, he eat forever. They're not helping the weak. They're just fucking feeding them for that day. That's why the weak are staying weak.
Okay, so wait a minute. Is your argument that we should not help them so much as far as the weak? We shouldn't help them so much? If that's your argument, we have the same argument. The point I was making was that I was alluding to your wildebeest example, your wildebeest analogy, and to say, like, they basically, if a wildebeest gets attacked by a lion and the rest of us is running, we're gonna just keep it moving and say, hey man, hey, it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I see what you're saying. What I'm saying is, okay, look. When you're talking about, if we gotta understand, in the grand scheme of things, all humans are competing for resources to maximize their survival. In order for us to keep up with that race, there has to be a lot of us dedicated to keeping up with that race and not stumbling back to try to pick everybody up, because the other races don't have, they got a group of people who are constantly who make advancement their primary goal. When you're trying to keep up with other races or surpass them, you don't have the time or energy to stop them and pick up people who can't keep up. So that group of us, if you want to call it the talented 10, the elite, whoever, they need to be focused on keeping up with the other elites of other races. You just no time to be picking people up and trying to bring them up with you, because you're trying to stay up with the other races. So that's what I'm saying. Like with the wildebeest example, they're trying to keep up on their terms, get away from the lion. They have no time to help the other weak, because they're going to get caught up too. So it needs to be a group of us who are constantly keeping up with the Jones or trying to surpass the other races of people.
no, I agree with that. I think that, and that's my whole point. I think a lot of our people, and that was my point with saying that the majority is like a lot. I think a lot of time we like to focus on the degenerates of the lowest of the low, but I think they show an element that the majority of our people need to understand. I think a lot of black folks need their balls reattached. I think the fact that you could go to a fucking corporation for 25 years until you get your damn motherfucking retirement, and you're just okay with sitting under these crackers for that damn long, that is showing a lack of testosterone or some type of measurement in your nuts.
I agree.
Like,
I
what's
agree.
wrong with you? So,
That's facts.
it's too many of our people that's okay with that. We have to address that too. And I don't think we could address a problem that big. Now, if you want to say, we could get into some of the things that I said I agreed on, as far as because you brought up one thing. You said sterilization. We could offer sterilization incentives, but like, for instance, we could look at China. In China, they had a whole thing where they said they had an overpopulation issue. And they said, listen, if you have one kid, we'll take care of that motherfucker as far as everything you need. But if you have more than that, you're on your own. And we pretty much know that the situation is set up to where it's going to be too much. We could set up either a satellite community or our own nation somewhere else where the people that are involved with what we're doing get benefits and the other ones get left to the wolves. We
But,
need we
but,
need
but you're talking about start a nation somewhere else. Like, bro, it's not like we can just annex ourselves. Like, we gotta be realistic and stay confined to our situation. It's where we nation somewhere else. Where you just gonna detach from the United
There's like
States?
half of Africa is undeveloped. Half of Africa, there's plenty of land out there. Half of it is 50% of Africa is undeveloped.
And it's undeveloped for a reason. I mean, you're not just
That's
gonna
true.
walk there and just. I mean,
No,
it's
no,
gonna
no.
take.
I think if we go there, initially we're definitely going to have to associate ourselves with, a nation that's there, or go under basically the protection of another nation. But the thing is, we can do something where we could be like a nation, maybe like Puerto Rico or America Samoa, where we can set our own laws and guidelines, but we still are under someone else to an extent. But the key is, if we can control what we teach our people, we can control. Like, you can have a Samoan here in America, they have their own identity, or a Jamaican, they have their own identity. Trinidadian, all these different people, they have their own identity, even though ultimately they're under the subjugation of another people. I think if African Americans had their own version of that, we would basically, it wouldn't take long where we would shit on everybody else. And we need some version of that, because if we can't control our law from top to bottom, I just don't really see how we ever going to change the culture for our people.
True, true. Well, that's another discussion, another nation building, and
Yeah,
but
that's
I
my
mean
whole thing. Y'all can check out the BAIO, Black African Infrastructure Organization, and they talk about that shit all day. And that's part of my, what I'm saying, my shit. But if we just keep it to here, we could have satellite communities here where we do the same thing. But listen, I agree with you. At some point, we have to create a separation between us that got our heads on straight and the people that's on bullshit.
that's mandatory. There's no other option. I mean, you can't. It's like the team analogy again. You can't go against a solid team when most of your team are bench players. But I got a question to ask you, because as far as the eugenics thing, you said Margaret Sanger was, racist and all that. Um, why did
As she
W.E.B. Du
should
Bois?
be.
Huh?
I said as she should be. But go ahead.
So why did people like Martin Luther King accept awards from her foundation, and W.E. Du Bois even did work for her and also co-signed her, saying that black people need eugenics? Why did these prominent black people co-sign Margaret Sanger, even though she's an evil white supremacist?
Well, you're adding to my line of questions of why would Martin Luther King want to join with crackers that have been killing us for the last centuries? Why would W.E.B. Du Bois want to join with a bunch of Jews to start an organization for colored people when they were the main ones selling us into slavery, and they were clearly a distinguishable, different group from us? Now, I don't have the knowledge to exactly answer that question, to be honest, but I will say that we can't use these men as an example of everything right, because they clearly didn't understand their enemy, in my opinion. We could look at like Martin Luther King. He understood Malcolm X and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad understood their enemy better. Martin Luther King and W.B. Du Bois did not understand that. You know what I'm saying? And that was why he was against Garvey and all that. So I can't use them as basically this model of, if they supported her, it must have been cool, because they were okay with fucking with the enemy. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
well, well. So what you're saying is that the biggest enemy of black people right now is white people. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that I think the biggest enemy then was white people. I think the biggest enemy of black people now, I think, would be the Asians, including the Western Asians, which are the Arabs, because they are the people, the most black Americans. They're the people who take the most of our market share away as far as the business and the money that we could be circulating to ourselves. I think they
But they're
take.
not doing it by force, though. They're not coming in strong arming the money. I mean, like, if the biggest enemy is somebody who comes in and is forcefully putting you into submission. It's not like they're coming in and forcing us to spend our dollars with them. So how are they the biggest enemy of blacks when they're not forcing any? At least when white people back in the day, white people were forcing harm on us. So how are they the biggest enemy when they're not forcing it, when we're willingly, uh, cooperating with them?
I mean, I'll agree that we are willingly doing it, but I guess enemy wouldn't be the best word. So I would say rival. I would maybe say rival. White folks have been doing the same thing to us. If we're gonna say enemy, the biggest enemy would still be white people.
How? Okay. So how are white people the biggest? I mean, because as I see it, black people's biggest enemy is black people. I mean, the people causing the most damage to black people are other black people. I mean, the most crime committed against blacks are committed by other blacks. We don't circulate our own dollar. That's a black issue. That's a black survival issue. White people are not causing harm to black people on a national scale like that. So I don't understand how white people are the biggest enemy of blacks.
The biggest outside enemy.
Okay,
The enemy is
outside.
always in. Yeah, I mean, if we want to go, I think I look at that as like a technical argument. The enemy is always within. You know what I mean? Like when you play in sports, they always say you're going to be the one who determines if you win or not. So if you want to say yes, technically, I do believe that blacks are our own worst enemy because if we could even go back to the 15th century, if we came up with a sound defense plan, we never would have been conquered in the first damn place. Whose fault was that? That's our damn fault. There's just no way around that. So if we're going to add ourselves to a possible largest enemy, then I would say yes, but I would have to add that anytime you lose at anything. See, I don't believe in this entitlement. I don't believe in the boogeyman. I don't believe in all of this blaming other things outside yourself. Either you win or lose, and that shit is on you. So yes, we are our biggest enemy if we add ourselves into the as an option. But if we remove ourselves as an option, I would say because of the psychological operations that they put on us, white people are our biggest enemy, and then our biggest rivals, based on who we can legitimately go against, would be Western Asians and Asians, because they take a lot of our community dollars away. But I'll agree with you. I mean, like I said, that was a long way of saying. Then yeah, I agree. We are our own
They,
worst.
they don't they don't take our dollars. We give it to them. We don't, they don't, but they're not taking any,
We
you
could say
know.
like if they weren't here before and they settle in America and they say, listen, there's a market share going toward blacks. We want to direct that market share toward us. You could say that that's taking it.
But
And
but well,
go ahead.
to take something, you have to force somebody to give. That's taking, like taking candy from a baby. They're not taking anything. What they're doing, they're strategizing and setting themselves up in a position so that our dollars flow to them willingly. You still have to shop with them. Like what, but I'm just trying to say, black people, us as black people need to start holding ourselves accountable in all regards, and we need to start looking at ourselves as the number one enemy. I mean, other races are not. We're not in the situation where we're being forced to be the bottom of the economic totem pole. Not in this America. Right now, we got the freedom to do. And this is what my biggest problem is. We got the freedom right now to do anything you want in this world, and this is what we're doing this because we want to do it. Because in the 60s and the 70s, I can kind of give them a pass. It was the information wasn't there like that. Got the white people on your back. The 80s, I can give you a pass. The information wasn't there like that. I fuck it. The drugs, whatever. The 90s, okay, the internet's coming about. Shit's getting better. But hey. But now in this period, we're doing this shit because we want to do this shit. It is nothing stopping us. I mean, money circulates faster than ever now. Uh, the knowledge is here. Like at this point in time, we're in extreme circumstances because we're being lazy because we want to be lazy. This is what we love to do.
Hey, I mean, shit, you're not gonna get a response you're not gonna get an argument from me on that because That's true. I mean, it's a lot of shit like, you know, people like to talk about racism and they like to equate it with the past, but it's a lot of shit that, like, people talk about, like, people don't understand. There was shit that if a black man wanted a business back in the day, when he went to the courts, he couldn't sue. If somebody, the Klan could get organized, do some shit against him, he couldn't sue because the courts wouldn't take him seriously. He had a Dred Scott decision that ruled against him, saying that a white man had no rule, no
And that's
laws.
standing. That law still, that case still stands today.
It stands, but the thing is that the reality is there are a lot of black people that do sue and do get legal recourse in a business aspect. So for us to equate that with now, like for us to equate 1814 with now, is just, that's intellectually dishonest. And I think a lot of our people like to be intellectually dishonest in that sense, because it just gives us an excuse to work around the fact that we have to put boots on the ground and just take shit. I mean, get out here and fucking work. Like, it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you're not going to get no argument with me. I'm with you 100% when we start talking about that. I'm just against the eugenics and throwing babies off the cliff like the Spartans.
I'm not saying throwing babies off the cliff. I'm just saying that the single mothers.
Eventually, bro, you're going to get to that point eventually. The next video will be fucking.
No. I've always maintained, like, the eugenics is for the black population who makes it their main life goal to just reproduce. I mean, niggas should not be out here be with 30 kids. Niggas should not be out here with 5 or 6 kids. Females should not be out here with more than 2 or 3 kids. Honestly, I mean, that's the problem. We need to control that population, because that population represents us as a whole, and our image to the rest of the human world determines. That partly determines what we're gonna be as far as survival, as far as resources. That's a problem. Population control is a must. And even if we got to start at the very bottom, we got to start somewhere. And these motherfucking, like, these mothers out here making 4 or 5 kids, if you don't say we need solution for them, I mean, if you don't say we need eugenics for them, what's the solution for them? Because they are creating a lot of more black lives that need to be, they got to eat too. So what do we do about the single mothers with 5 or 6 kids plus, or future single mothers? What's the solution for them if eugenics is not the solution?
All right, so first of all, if I'm gonna give you 2 scenarios. The first one I'm gonna give you, if we consider ourselves as a part of the whole global scheme of things, right? We need to stop all these entitlement programs that are supporting and giving an incentive for them to live this way. All right. Now, a lot of people may say, well, Tori or Mufassa, you cannot do that because you don't control the system. All right. So I say, okay, I agree with you. We need to stop as a people giving an incentive to this as far as our culture and shaming and language. We need to start speaking out against it. And we need to, when we do programs, we have to give a deference to the people who make the right decisions as far as family life. So if we come up with something, we have to start rewarding the people who aren't irresponsible. We have to culturally direct ourselves away from that and more toward responsible. Because you mentioned earlier people having 3 or 4 kids. I have no problem with you having 3 or 4 kids. I need them kids.
If you can take care of them.
Yeah, I need those kids.
Financially, that's what I meant to say. That you shouldn't be having those kids if you can't financially take care of them. If you can financially take care of your kids, have 20 kids. You feel me? I'm all about multiplying when you can take care of your responsibilities. Have a whole tribe. But and what you're saying is correct. Yeah, direct the culture to shame single motherhood and all that's cool. That's an overtime thing. But like you said, we got to draw the line at some point. So what is the hard cut line? That's the soft solution. Now, what's the hard cut solution? Because we can say, oh, we're gonna have to change the culture and all of that. But white people, they don't be like, we're gonna change the culture. They said put a guideline up. They set up Planned Parenthood. They don't get no fuck.
But they stopped though. They see, listen, and I don't want to go back too much onto the disagreement, but they stopped all of that. They discontinued the eugenics. But to answer your question, I think bro, cut that shit off. Like after baby number 4, your Section 8 is up.
4, baby number 4,
We
nigga,
could say
baby number 1.
I could debate. No. Come on.
So they can't be. Look, why
Because
we? You can't give them an incentive to have even one kid they can't financially afford. And I
because
get.
the problem, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you why you're fucking up with that. Because if you do that, the two that have two.
Well, let me just say this. I always give somebody one. I mean, I'm not. Look, one child, one mistake. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you get that. You get that pass. All right. But after it shouldn't. A child is a major thing. It shouldn't take more than one child to know. If I'm talking about from a female perspective, because they got the power of the womb, it should not take more than one child having that child that you cannot afford to learn your lesson. All right, like you're gonna bring another child to the world after you can afford the first one. The child number 2 gotta have it. Gotta be something.
No, they do. But this is the thing, we have to deal with this. You got to deal with the fact that if you cut people off too much, a lot of these mothers, they got these sons, little BK Brazy and little GD Vice Lord. They're gonna come out killing motherfuckers and just wreaking too much havoc. So you can't go too far off because the backlash.
Oh, well, if they wreak that havoc, they will be met with force. I mean, let's not give them too much power. I mean, these niggas wreaking havoc in the hoods, they're doing that because nobody is counteracting them. They're not. I mean, these niggas can't shoot. They can't fight. They're just literally wild beings. Like I was in Chicago some years ago. A nigga was literally 3 feet away from me from my car, had his gun pointed at me, shot a few times as I pulled off, and I felt my body. I'm like, I know I'm hit. This nigga was literally 3 feet away from me. No, was not hit at all. Motherfucking the bullet hole was way in the back. I mean, these niggas, these are not. Let's not give these niggas too much power. They're causing force because they're not meeting opposition. You know.
No. I agree with you. I mean, especially when we know these niggas can't shoot. But the thing is, we have you got to study early America. You got to look at the mob and the 20s and the 40s and Al Capone's things. These mobsters weren't necessarily smarter than the people who were running the country. The only problem was the people who were running the country were not allowing enough. They weren't allowing enough opportunities for people. So when you give them too much ammunition, their numbers get too high. And when their numbers get too high, even a dumb motherfucker can overrun you. So they're
okay. Like Cortez just said in the chat, the degenerates are breeding at least twice the level of productive black. I mean, that's what I'm trying to. The people who I'm talking about, they're breeding at higher levels than productive black people. So something needs to be done about that, like something hardcore, because that's a hardcore practice to keep shooting out babies at the level they are, and these babies are growing up to be non-productive for the most part. That it needs to be a hard cut solution for that. Like that's why eugenics is just you meet fire with fire, because this is literally a problem. The single mother wedlock rate goes up every year. It doesn't go down, it goes up every year. That's a problem. That's behavior needs to be met by something drastic. And by switching the culture up, okay, that's cool, but that's not even guaranteed. You're talking about let's do something that's not even guaranteed. To do a culture switch, very large task that can take a long time, which even more kids would be made. And you said we might be blocking out the future genius of the world, and and whatnot, but that's not happening now. All right, so that will already be happening. So I'm saying there has to be a hard cut solution to a hard cut situation.
No, there is, and I think that hard cut solution is it's. I think that's you're gonna have to lower the entitlements, the entitlement spending. The Section 8 is gonna have to lower the. You can't touch food stamps. You touch food stamps, motherfuckers gonna be getting robbed and shot. But
so can we supplement that? Can we supplement that solution you just said with that? Do you think that can be supplemented with voluntary eugenics? The taking away of because the taking away.
That juice ain't worth the squeeze, man. The blowback on eugenics is not worth the squeeze. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just adding in these other arguments of having to use empathy. That's just me just, I'm just entertaining you. But the fact that once you start doing eugenics, you got to look at the fact on how church-centered a lot of black communities are. The fact that they just looking for anything that they could use to get money. I mean, that's a political nightmare.
Man, I don't. Let me tell you why it would not be a political nightmare. The average motherfucker who are in these situations are looking for the next come up. This will not be received in a bad way. If you put this if you put this shit in the hood, right, and say, look, $1,000 to $1,500 for your reproductive rights, you know how many people will flock to those centers? You know how many
They
people will
if
come
you got
through?
that going.
Hmm?
If you got it going, yes, they will flop. They will flop.
This will not be received in a bad way. People will be like, hell yeah, we finna go do this. Let's do
The
it. I mean,
individuals would, but people would be looking at it because motherfuckers, how emotional, especially black people. You know how emotional are.
so
That's
what? We gotta
all
at some
over
point
them.
we gotta say, just like when you're dealing with a bitch. We know bitches are emotional. But at some point you just gotta say, fuck how you think, ho. Fuck it. Like we gotta start worrying about, the backlash or anything revolutionary is gonna have backlash. Like I mean, we gotta start being ready. We need to welcome that, because that means you're moving in the right direction. Because a major
Yeah.
change is gonna cause a major uproar.
Okay, I hear that. But before we get to that point, we're gonna have to have more power over them. Like you said people will submit to authority when they have no choice. We got to put ourselves in a better position to have more leverage before we can do that. Because right now, you and I, as intelligent as we are, I mean, I'm on to come up just like you on to come up. In a few years, we're going to have some way more weight. But as of right now, the leverage that we have, the political leverage, weighed up against a pastor or the people in your community. I think you're in Atlanta. You don't got the political leverage to go against them right now.
Well, that's true. That's true. Also, I mean that would take time.
It won't take that much time because money is power. You could buy them motherfuckers off. If
Yeah,
enough
that's
of us,
that's true too.
it won't take too much time. We could do it. I mean, I don't want to do that, but I'm saying we could have more political leverage in them. We just got to get our fucking money up, man.
That's true. So I mean, when you talk about the actual mechanics, like, of course, you're right. It would take more political leverage. It would take time for that. I'm just talking about a hard cut solution, but obviously, to implement this, it would take a great deal of effort. I want to address Scorobi in the chat room. He said that these thoughts, you don't think they'll flock to the deal. You got the black people in the hood are really short-term thinkers. They really are like short-term, looking for the quick finesse, the quick come up. They're not. You're saying they'll make more off welfare for the long term, which they probably will make. Which they will make it for the long term, yes. But black people aren't thinking long term. Black people are always thinking for the short come up. That's why we suck at business. That's why we suck at anything where you have to have delayed gratification. You tell these motherfuckers in the hood, we're gonna give you a rack to give them your reproductive rights right here and there. They're gonna flock to it, not because of logic, but because they're thinking about that day. They're gonna spend all that shit in 2 days, 3 days, and they won't have any reproductive rights anymore. But they will take that deal because they are fucking hungry. They're looking for the next deal. They're looking for the next come up.
No, I agree with you. I was responding as soon as you start talking to it about it. I mean, that's cool what you're saying, but low IQ, not until I don't want to focus on IQ. I'm gonna have to get on you and black men taking their community back on y'all IQ focus. Y'all over focus on IQ, but that's another day. But like non-intelligent people do not they don't think long term. They think day to day. I don't have no money today. Let me go put a gun in nigga's face, regardless of the situation, regardless of the witnesses. Let me go put a gun in nigga's face right now because it makes more sense now. That's how they think. That's how people with the wrong mentality think. How much money would it take? It won't take that much money, Scorobi. I think he's right.
I'm saying I'm being generous when I say
Yeah,
1,000.
that's generous, but come on, that's how many purses they could get they could get all everything.
Nigga, you could come up 300. They going for the 300. Don't you think I'm playing, man? They going for the 300. I'm trying to tell you, they would
Now
do that.
you have to do a little more than that just because the people behind them. Like, see, if we go like 800 or something, that they could get some, and then the people behind them, they could probably get some
I
of.
agree with you. You had to go higher, but I'm saying they would go for the people
If
would
it
go
was
for
just up
the
to the individual thought herself, yes,
yeah. She
you'll fuck around for 500. But
yeah.
like, you could do some shit like, look, we'll give. Look, you could really kill it. Like, look, we'll give you 800 and 700 to you, 100 to your local nearest church or whatever.
Coming up
Whoever.
with deals and everything. He trying to make this shit. You get a coupon, nigga. Shit.
You
Bring
could
this coupon.
you could buy some black people off. I
For
tell you,
real. You know, that's
anybody
how
without.
easy.
Yeah,
Like,
you
go
could buy
ahead.
motherfuckers off that don't have self-esteem and you know and the positive goals for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not hard at all, you know. But and like I'm saying, man, when it like for the eugenics though, I'm just saying, even though all the political stuff aside, I'm just saying it needs to be implemented for the lowest level thinking people who constitute majority of the population, and you can tell they constitute majority of the population because they're breeding the most. They're breeding more. People in these situations make more babies than productive black people. So you have to attack that link because that link is representing the majority of the population. You know, through the and it manifests through the media, through the art, through everything. You can say we don't own it, but we still consume it because that represents our mindset. So these type of people who are breeding the most, that's the eugenics I'm saying this should be for.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do need some level of eugenics. I don't think we should be as curt as to say, come in, you know, get sterilized, and we'll give you some money, especially to women, you know, 18 or anywhere around that age, because I think that's a political nightmare. But I do think we can, because to me, to say, hey, if you have one baby, we'll take care of everything you need. If you have two, you're on your own. That's a form of eugenics. You know what I mean? But that would be more representative of positive reinforcement. And I think we need to do something to that extent. I think those of us who are people like me and you, late 20s, that's building, 30s to 40s, that's building, that see these issues, we're going to have to build things, adjust our power dynamic in the community. And once we do that, we can provide incentives, okay, to people who do what we want them to do. Because when we talk about directly restricting, and I stalled you out. I didn't even go into the fact of how are you going to implement this when you got you're under the jurisdiction of white men. I didn't even go to that route.
Well,
But
I can answer that real easy. I mean, white people are not going to stop you from implementing a eugen. They're not. They won't give a fuck. You know, just like they don't give a fuck about the black issues going on now, as they shouldn't give a fuck. But I'm saying, like, when you start, I mean, they're not going to stop you from, just like they don't. I mean, white people, they're not going to stop you from doing some shit like that. You know, they're not. They don't give a fuck about us enough for that.
right,
You know, and I mean, like I said, put it into motion and all that things. I'm talking all that aside. Now, that's another conversation. You're talking about implementing something because then you got to, like you said, the political, who you got to buy off. You know what legal maneuvers you have to go through, but it could be done. I mean, Planned Parenthood was erected for. I mean, it shows that it can be done. You know, you just have to just study what how did they do it before you. You know,
no, I mean it can be done. It can be done, but I mean on what scale? And like I said, if we accept what you just said, we still have to adjust the scale, the political scale, political power scale between us and the religious leaders and shit like that in the community, because you know that's low hanging fruit for them. And anybody, all they have to do is say eugenics and Hitler, and niggas will flock to that shit like birds flying south easily. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to have way more power, and I don't think you have to be that blunt and out for it. I think we can outsmart this issue without having to be so straightforward. because then we give the dumb motherfuckers that lead the dumb motherfuckers too much of a easy route if we're that straightforward. I think
Okay,
we can
that makes sense. That a little bit of marketing, you know, can't just. I mean, I'm with that. I agree. You can't just go out. I mean, I'm an extreme motherfucker, so I know you can't just go out and just say this
no,
type of stuff. Like if you would take this to the political arena, you would have to obviously mask it. You know, you would have to obviously have another face on it. You know, like a politician behind. You know, the formalities. You know, I'm with it. I
I
understand
don't think.
that.
Yeah, I don't think you think that. I think you put a lot of things, put a lot of ideas out there. I took, to be honest, the way I took it when you made that video was just putting it out there and asking the question of why has no one addressed this? Why has nobody put that out there? What are the logical counter arguments? And me being a person I am, I know some history, I know some whatever. Whether we agree or not, I don't think anybody could say that I'm just pulling this out of my ass and I don't have at least a legitimate retort. But the average person, I don't think has even thought of it, and that's why you had a lot of people I think agreeing in the comment section. But I don't think you're saying like let's do this shit tomorrow. I think you were just putting it out there. That's how I took it. Like
That's
putting it out.
exactly how what I'm doing. I'm putting the idea out there because it's just an idea. I mean, nobody's really, you know, talk. Like I said, nobody. It's not a solution that's been, you know, entertained. So that's really what I'm doing. I mean, obviously, when we start talking about putting stuff into practice, you know, that's a whole other movement right there. You know, but it all starts with an idea first. But I do want to ask you a question because you know we've been on here for like an hour and a half, so we'll wrap it
Okay.
up soon. I do want to answer your question you asked about the me being a felon and about the
Oh,
sterilization. What was
yeah.
how was that again? I want to
No, yeah, my point was if we go to the point where we throw empathy out the window and giving people a second chance, could we not make the argument? Because there's a lot of people who argue when we're dealing with eugenics for forced sterilization for prisoners and people who commit crimes. So when we start going down that slippery slope, won't we land to a point where you would have been sterilized or possibly put to death? Because we could say, based on the numbers, we're better off without a lot of you. How do you basically justify that when you're being so, oh, it's all about logic, and because the numbers are against you. The numbers say it's better off if you got exterminated. So how do you justify that?
well, like I said before, first off, I never said anything about anybody being forced, you know, to participate in eugenics. You know, I said it could be volunteered, voluntary that you take this in exchange for benefits. Now, with my situation, I know my situation. I know that I am like a huge, huge anomaly in general. I mean, because you're right, the numbers are against me. But here's the thing: it's not that many of me. I wish I could say it was more, but I'm not. I don't want. I'm not trying to toot my own horn and shit. All right, because I got a long way to go. But there's not many of me. I'm an anomaly. Most people in my situation, first of all, are not here to tell their side of the story, and also, and they're just not doing shit with their life. That's the majority. So in my situation, now this might sound crazy, but it's better to take the risk of taking out 1,000 people who's going to cause terror and drawbacks for the race. It's better for somebody of me to get caught in with that than to let 1,000 people come back out and motherfucking destroy more lives and more lives and more lives exponentially. All right. Now, also I said
I'm gonna call you Adolf.
no, because also I said that everybody gets one chance, even single mothers, the babies and shit. You get
Yeah.
one, you know, because you really shouldn't only learn at the one lesson. We're not living in the jungle and shit. This is a civilized society where if you learn one lesson, you get taught so well that it shouldn't take you another chance to do it because that means you just want to live the lifestyle. What I'm saying is that you get one chance, period, in anything in life. right? You fuck that up. Hey, you know, like if I go out here and fuck some shit up again, nigga, I deserve to get sterilized. You know, after already fucking up once. You know, so just like the bitch having a baby. After one baby in poverty, if you have another baby in poverty, sterilization, you have to, because you've made it a lifestyle. All right. When you show that you made lower level thinking a lifestyle, that's where the issue comes in. And you prove that by how many chances you give somebody. If they fuck up after one chance, after having a chance, then you know that they don't value their life. So, you know,
Okay.
I'm an anomaly, man. I can't play off the anomaly, even if it's me. I can't say we got to do this based on anomaly, even if
I
it's
think
me
you're
involved.
underdoing how much that, and like I said, I don't want to keep going forever, but I think you're underdoing how big that anomaly can be. You know what I'm saying? Like how big that shit can be. Like Dame Dash could have got caught with some rocks and never been Dame Dash. You know how many people, how many black people Dame Dash put money in their hand, and how many people just in general Dame Dash put money in their hand. How many people Jay-Z put money in their hand?
That's true, but then we got to look at, if you're gonna talk about what they did, then we got to talk about what the thousands of others, what they've caused. If Dame Dash put money in, like, let's say 100 black people's hands, all right, let's say that. Now we got to talk about the other 1,000 black men. What damage did they cause? To how many lives did they cause as compared to what Dame did?
Right.
So we got to look at both sides of the spectrum.
We do, but then we got to go like on another scale of the larger, grander picture. We got to look at the bigger picture too. But shit,
Understood. You
what's
know,
up? Did we answer Skarobi's question? Skarobi, how do we decide who is smart, black or not? Do we have a nation IQ test, or
we're
just
gonna have to hit on that IQ test. I know you don't like the IQ test. You know, but you know, aside from that, I think, you know, we got a better understanding of you know, our topics at hand. Um, I don't know. Was there anything else? Did I miss anything? Anything else? Any other thing you
I
wanted to
think we
say?
covered everything. Man. Let me see. I think we covered everything. We talked about who determines. Did you really cover that? Well, we said based on the actions,
Well,
unproductive citizens.
who determines is based. You know, it's a voluntary thing. You know, like we're just putting it out there, and people who want to go get snipped for in exchange for benefits and money, they can. This is a voluntary thing.
Okay, you did make this statement. I don't know if I put this in a response video or not. You said you can't compete. You said maybe the human race isn't for you. That sounds like euthanasia to me. Like we might as well just basically just exterminate you, just snuff you out. I mean, what do you mean by that statement? Like the human race may not be for you.
If you're not taking your survival seriously, you don't need to survive. Is that simple? I mean, like, it's, as humans, we're very lucky that we're in a situation where you can just not do shit and still be able to live. That's a luxury. Because in nature, you don't have that luxury. If you're not putting in work in every day, you're not gonna live. And we're mammals. So without all this technology and shit, if you wasn't putting in work, you wouldn't live. So because society is so generous, you get to live even though you don't put any work towards your own survival. That's unnatural. It's unnatural not to care about your survival. So if you're not caring about your survival, I know damn sure you're not caring about your race's survival. So I mean, on a natural scale, if you pure nature, you literally don't deserve to live because you're not taking your own survival seriously.
So just fuck it. Let his ass die off.
I mean, if they're not going to help themselves, I mean, how
Please,
much
I just need some food. I just need some water. Fuck you, nigga. You ain't able to survive. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
it's not like that. It's saying, oh, I need some food. I need some water. Even though I have the ability to get it myself, but I just can't. I don't want to. I want you to just keep giving it to me. That's more accurate. Because if you
Right.
want food and water, you can go get it. If you're not mentally retarded, and if you're not physically handicapped, there is no excuse. And we need to stop making excuses.
Yeah, but see, when we start going that far, man, that's when you start having motherfuckers like we got Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords, GDs, and shit here. But when you start going that far, that's when you start having Boko Harams. That's when you start having Al Shababs and Hamas and motherfuckers that just get so extreme because they gotta go to each other to survive. You know what I'm saying? So you that's why I say empathy is logical. You have to take care of, you have to provide a better deal than the slumlords. You have to provide a better deal than the gang lords, the drug lords. The moment that they provide a better deal than you, they're going to be a big nuisance for you. And that's how they beat and dwindle the mob's power, the mafia's power. They gave a bunch of motherfuckers government jobs and all these different things, firemen. You see what I'm saying? Because they said, listen, we're going to give you a better deal than them. Once they give a better deal than you, they're going to wreak all kind of havoc that you cannot, and that's just some basic economics and government. You have to always consider if a motherfucker's better deal is to go with Lil BK Brazy and just fuck up society, kill cops and some more shit, you're going to have a big problem. And we always
Well,
got.
well, I mean, obviously, I mean, it's not hard to offer a better deal than, I mean, like I said, extreme circumstances call for extreme measures. I think we both can agree that the black race is in the extreme circumstances.
Yes.
You have to go. You can't fight extreme circumstances with average solutions, or with non-extreme solutions. So whatever the case or whatever route is taken, it has to be just as extreme as the single mother wedlock rate. It has to be just as extreme as the not the low entrepreneurship rate. It has to be on those level of extremeness. So whatever we do has to be just as extreme as those situations.
Right. No, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we could keep going on. I think we pretty much covered everything, though.
Yeah, true indeed, true indeed. But real talk, Hangout was dope. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Mufassa Shabazz channel. He puts up some good ass content, good ass commentary. Uh, we put the link in the chat, bro. If you want, man. It's only like 8 people here, but shit.
I'm gonna find the link and put it up because I got some stuff coming. I got my next video I'm gonna put up. I just gotta fucking figure out. I just got this laptop and I gotta figure out how to take files off my phone and that whole shit. But my next one, the title is "White Supremacy is Not Holding You Back. Lack of Black Supremacy Is." So
Yeah,
y'all
that's
have to check
dope.
it out.
I'm,
White
I'm,
Supremacy is Not Holding You Back.
I'm looking forward to that joint. Uh, so anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Nah, that's it, man. Shit, just follow the channel, Mufasa Shabazz. We just going. I almost got 20,000 channel views, and
That's
we just
dope.
got it going, man. If y'all want to hit me on Instagram, it's Mufasa Shabazz, Mufasa underscore Shabazz. Same with the Snapchat, Mufasa underscore Shabazz. And if you want to email me any type of, if you seen anything in here, you want me to speak on anything, just email me at contactmufasashabazz@gmail.com.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, this is a dope hangout. We definitely gonna have to come. We definitely gonna have to come back do some more hangouts. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait till my shit gets back activated on my main channel, man. I hate having the double route.
Yeah, you can
Huh?
have some real shit on there. You can have some real what you call it, so we can have some real numbers up in here.
Yeah, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? It's all good though. People still gonna fuck with it. They gonna come back later and shit. But yeah, I gotta get that fixed. But 23rd, January 23rd, that's when my shit get off. So but other than that, man, I'm gonna take this off air. Uh and we chop it up off air real quick, and I'm gonna take this off the live stream. So good looking, y'all. Appreciate y'all coming through. Uh, this is a live hangout. Y'all, we gonna come back again later on. So yo, we out on the YouTube joint. Peace.
Peace, y'all.